Okay. And immediately, it's bad. What's going on? Oh, now it's okay. I really do not understand what's going on. Yeah, it's getting a little low. Okay. Well, that's green. Stream's going. No, error. YouTube not receiving enough video. But this is green. Green means go, right? Green means go. Well, I'm gonna have to just move forward as if everything's okay. Man, sorry guys. What an annoying turn of events. Like literally like within the first 40 minutes, I get dropped like 4 times. I've had to reset my computer, reset the stream, reset the key, reset like everything. So, I don't understand. But hopefully this one maintains. Already back down to yellow, back down to red, back down to orange. Like, what's going on? I don't understand it. Like, I really don't. Like, isn't connecting consistently. Like, yeah, if I drop out, like, I mean, I'm gonna have to. And I don't understand why it's all of a sudden. Like, why is it all of a sudden? Yeah, it froze again. Well, now I'm being told video resolution. Yeah, not receiving enough. Like, and it's just something's going on with OBS. Like, it's just like dipping down and coming up. Okay, well, I'm gonna move forward, and if I get dropped, I get dropped, and that's gonna be life. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. Everything was completely fine yesterday, the day before, all that. So something's going on today, and I can't explain it. And it does look like it's OBS itself. It looks like it's like I'm getting dropped frames, and it's just like a blink down. Like, it's just going like doink. Like it's not. It doesn't look like it's anything. Yeah, I can't explain it. And I think if I was going to dig into what's going on, I'd have to like stop the stream and all that. So I'm just going to move forward. I think if it shuts down again, I think I'm going to call it a night. Okay, guys? Because the I got to dig into what's going on with that. Like, you expect things to actually work when they're working. But ultimately, like, we pretend as though these systems are like, infallible, but like they're not, right? We're fundamentally teaching rocks how to think. So like it makes sense that every so often there's just going to be disconnects or misconnects. It is interesting that the minute I start talking about Disney, all right, I shan't evoke the name again. Why are BC renters subsidizing BC homeowners? This one comes from the Discord. Hey, Barnabas, good to see you again. A federal provincial panel on housing supply and affordability in British Columbia expected trouble last spring when it filed its final report. It proposed medicine for a market gone haywire, but predicted that some of its advice was nevertheless likely to be met with resistance. Among the recommendations was the obvious. Governments need to work to get more housing built. But the panel, a mix of public sector and corporate representatives, also unanimously called for the end of a BC homeowner grant. It's an annual property tax subsidy dating back to 1957, paid to almost all BC homeowners. The money starts at $570 per homeowner per year, with more for rural properties and owners who are seniors. The grants are expected to cost the BC Treasury $887 million in 2021-22. The subsidy is only for homeowners who live in their homes. Landlords are not eligible, nor are renters. And this isn't a subsidy for low-income households. As property values in BC have soared, provincial governments, both left and right, have escalated the value of the exemption. 5 years ago, the subsidy went to homeowners whose home was worth $1.2 million or less. Last year, it was $1.625 million. This year, after the market soared some more, the magical mountain that grows taller by the day was raised by another 22% to $1.975 million. The rising peak means that more than 9 out of 10 homeowners will be receiving a subsidy from taxpayers, even if they have high incomes and even if their home's price keeps rising. The province issued its latest annual BC assessment data last week. It showed that in Metro Vancouver, the value of detached properties increased by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, dude. I'm experiencing fluctuations. So as long as you guys keep chatting, hey Alex, good to see you. The expert panel looked at all of this and saw the obvious. The system is strikingly unfair. It's a tax break that mostly benefits people of above average incomes. In the city of Vancouver, for example, more than half of households rent, and they're being squeezed by rising costs. Yet homeowners, whose asset values are rising, are getting a payment from other taxpayers, and the subsidy helps boost home prices. The panel called for the nearly $1 billion giveaway to be ended, with the money instead being devoted to social housing. The panel also proposed more equitable treatment of renters and homeowners, since renters end up paying high taxes to offset revenue losses from homeowner exemptions. But highlighting the disproportionate policy influence of homeowners, the panel said that reform would not be politically easy and would require strong leadership. The ND government rejected the proposal within hours of its publication. We're not interested in making any changes, BC's finance minister said in the legislature of the homeowner grant. Across the country, there are variations on this generous tax treatment of homeowners versus renters, but nothing so striking as in BC. Nova Scotia has a system that favors longer-term owners at the expense of others, including renters. Toronto charges a higher property tax rate on apartment buildings than houses. And by not taxing capital gains on the sale of a principal residence, Ottawa provides what is effectively a national tax break worth $7.8 billion a year. But BC is on its own with its regressive policy of giving cash to homeowners. Every year, just because 65 years ago, a populist social credit government came up with this plan to regularly send out checks. At the time, it was understood for what it was: vote buying, pure and simple. Yet, as with similar measures once introduced, it became difficult to end. Giving away money is surprisingly popular, at least among its recipients, which is why BC's housing panel correctly anticipated the result of its call to turn off the taps. Even an NDP government deemed subsidies to owners of homes worth up to almost $2 million to be politically untouchable. But there has to be a way to start whittling down the size of the grant. First, stop escalating the annual exemption level. Then a few years later, start ratcheting it down. If it must continue, only offer it to homeowners with low incomes. The nearly $1 billion a year this is costing BC would be far better invested in addressing the side effects of Canada's most inflated housing market, rather than further pumping it up. But, as the panel said, that would take something that's always in short supply: leadership. I mean, at this point, it's not even leadership, right? It's just rational. It's just rational, reasonable thinking, right? Like, we're really not interested in that as a people. We're not interested in rational, reasonable thinking. Like, we're giving money to homeowners because they own homes. Like, doesn't that seem a bit incoherent? Like, it seems like it's the definition of giving money to the rich. Literally just like, here you go, rich people who don't need more money, have more money, right? And where's that money coming from? Oh, the people who are renting in the first place. Like, we're odd. We're a bit odd, honestly, as a people. We're a bit odd. Here's one from the National Observer. Tax the real estate speculators and make it hurt. Few publications do rage-inducing real estate clickbait as well as Toronto Life. So it wasn't a surprise to see it run a first-person puff piece recently about a 28-year-old who owns 6 properties worth more than $7 million. As he wrote, "My story proves it's possible for millennials to buy a house in the GTA and build a business out of it. It will accomplish this without any financial help, albeit using a relatively risky investment method. That method? Speculating on real estate. He's hardly alone in that. According to recent data from Terranet, Ontario's land registry operator, nearly 25% of homes purchased in the province in the first 8 months of 2021 were by people who already owned at least one other property. In Toronto, that figure was nearly 30%, more than first-time home buyers or people moving from one home into another. Over the last decade, the market share controlled by multiple property owners has increased by 50%. This means the spoils of Toronto's red-hot housing market are being concentrated into an ever smaller number of hands, and they're the ones who already have some of the deepest pockets. And it's not just happening in Toronto. According to data from Equifax Canada, the number of people who took out a 4th mortgage or more increased 7.7% between July 2020 and June 2021. That was more than double the increase in first-time borrowers. When it comes to housing in Canada, the rich just keep getting richer. This has to stop. Taxing the massive capital gains accumulating in some people's principal residences would be one way to do that, but it's also a political cyanide pill for anyone who tries to even float the idea. That's why it's time for a big tax on real estate speculation, one that doesn't just apply to non-resident buyers. It should apply to every additional property owned beyond and scale higher with property purchased. On the second property, maybe it's 5%. But if you want to own 10 houses, like the subject of Toronto Life profile, then maybe it's 50% on that 10th one. Yes, there are some obvious ways to evade this sort of tax, whether it's through the use of holding companies or putting properties in the name of children or other family members. The Canada Revenue Agency will have its work cut out for it here, but that work needs to start happening. Housing isn't an asset class like gold, cryptocurrency, or stocks, where the risks and rewards of